everyone.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Sunita Singh, welcoming you all in this International E-Symposium of Global Women Breakfast 2022. Before starting our event formally, we are sharing the welcome video of Global Women Breakfast 2022 prepared by IUPAC Global Women Breakfast Division. And it is a moment of pleasure that our chemistry department is also featuring in this welcome video.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2022 IUPAC Global Women's Breakfast. Mary, I'm thrilled to partner with you again to launch this amazing event.
Hello, Laura. It's a great honor together to greet everyone and to welcome them to this year's celebration of the achievements of women in science. I can picture scientists all around the world leaping out of bed this morning to meet with their friends and colleagues.
The wonderful thing about the breakfast, Mary, is the warm feeling of belonging and shared purpose with the more than 300 groups around the world.
You and I both have a great appreciation for the critical importance of building professional networks.
You know, amazingly, both of our journeys started with a fascination with chemistry and water. Inspired by my first environmental chemistry professor, I got to travel on research ships on the world's largest lakes, and I met scientists from different countries and collaborated.
And in my case, I would never have imagined as an undergraduate studying chemistry in the UK that I would move to do postdoctoral research underwater on the Great Barrier Reef. But it was while attending regional meetings in Asia that I first became inquisitive about how other communities do science and how young people develop into well-rounded scientists.
For me, it was an IUPAC conference where I came to understand the enormous value of networking at an international forum.
Absolutely. We met at an IUPAC meeting in Puerto Rico. Now watch some of the wonderfully creative groups sharing what this year's breakfast means to them.
Unity in diversity. Yay! Welcome to GWB. Adapting. Accepting. Equitable. Opportunities.
Wow, those were amazing. I'm really excited to announce today that the next breakfast will be held on the 14th of February, 2023, and registration will open later this year, so keep an eye on the website.
That's Valentine's Day. And next year, the breakfast will also be part of the celebration for the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development. So we encourage you to reach out to organisations in other maths and science disciplines to organise an event or to join your event.
And finally, we ask you to join the global conversation about the breakfast using our short Mentimeter poll Just scan the QR code with your mobile device to participate, and you can see the results in real time as they come in on the GWB website.
Thank you to all the event organisers, to our GWB task group members for their work this year, and also thank you to our sponsors.
And sending out a special thanks to Dr. Lynn Sobey, Executive Director of IUPAC, for her leadership and support.
Have fun, everyone, and we will see you again next year.
As per our Indian tradition, we would like to offer Goddess of Knowledge, Saraswati Ji, with lamp lighting, and followed by Saraswati Vanna by Tanu Kashyap of BSc 4th semester. Please kindly join us for lamp lighting. It's a request to all participants, kindly mute yourself. Ma'am, shall I share the video? Yeah, ma'am.
नेहा मैम अनम्यूट करिए.
Unmute your laptop. Okay, now I'm sharing the Saraswati Vanna.
ये देखिए ये अनम्यूट है अभी, है ना.
I'm sharing the Saraswati Vanna.
मैम वीडियो नहीं आ रही है सुनीता मैम.
हाँ वीडियो नहीं आ रहा है.
Sunita ji, I am sharing it from here.
Okay.
शिशु है अज्ञानी माता, तीन चरणों का प्यार दे। तेरा पानी तार दे, तार दे, तार दे। माँ सरस्वती शारदे, माँ सरस्वती शारदे।
Dr. Sunita, we can proceed with the program now.
Yes. Now I welcome our Honorable Principal, Professor Manjula Upadhyay, to kindly welcome our esteemed speakers. Ma'am.
Hello, everybody.
मैम आवाज नहीं आ रही है। नेहा मैम आप म्यूट हैं।
नेहा मैम अनम्यूट करिए।
Hello, everybody. On behalf of Navyuk Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, India, I, Professor Manjula Upadhyay, Principal of the college, congratulate Department of Chemistry for organizing International E-Symposium, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, Global Women's Breakfast 2022, in association with Association of Chemistry Teachers. We welcome our distinguished guests and speakers from national and international arena, Mrs. Ruchika Rastogi, Dr. Shipra Pandey, Professor Lien Son Hing, and Dr. Amrita Srivastav. I also welcome all the academicians, research scholars, students, our college faculties, our colleagues in nearby colleges in Lucknow connected on this e-platform. Navyuk Kanya Mahavidyalaya is a leading institution to the cause of girls' education in the city of Lucknow, name derived from Lakshman, younger brother of Prabhu Ram, situated on the banks of River Gomti. Now about the conference, why this conference is necessary. We should celebrate womanhood because gender biases are against women. Gender refers to the rules, norms, customs, practices by which biological differences between males and females are translated into socially constructed differences between men and women and boys and girls. Gender bias is a term commonly used to describe how far behind women have remained in seizing opportunities for improving their level of living. Gender inequality represents an untapped source for stimulating economic growth and promoting social development in countries like India. Gender is just one of multiplicity of inequalities that combine to form the patterns of poverty and exclusion that we see in the world today. As each country's economic and social indicators improve, there is an increasing demand for ending the discrimination against, because when there is no social economic indicators to improve, women are not aware of their rights. But as these improve, women are aware of their rights and they demand to end the discrimination against them. Women's responsibilities for care fundamentally affect their ability to participate in social programs, in labor markets, and to derive benefits from household resources. Recipients of welfare benefits to mainstreaming gender concerns and engaging them in the development process of the country. For growth and development, full potentials of women need to be realized by ensuring equal rights and opportunities. According to Oxford University Press, the inequality toward women is endorsed within cultures and entrenched within institutions that hold power to reproduce that inequality. There are various gendered barriers in social networks that prevent women from working in male-dominated fields and top management jobs. However, when the women try to prove their competence and power, they often face obstacles. In addition, women's achievements are likely to be dismissed or discredited. Women in professions like science, technology, and other related industries are likely to encounter these gendered barriers in their career. However, there have been positive attempts to reduce gender discrimination in the public domain. Although even with laws prohibiting gender discrimination, society and social institutions continue to minimize women's competencies and accomplishments, especially in the workforce, by dismissing or discrediting their achievements. The first concept is hierarchical segregation. Higher the level and rank of power and prestige, the smaller the population of females participating. Higher level ranking jobs, suppose in academics, if we see vice chancellors, if we count, there are very less number of female vice chancellors in any country. The term refers to how female employment is often clustered in specific industries or categories in industries. Then there is territorial disparities in science are often found in the 1920s and 30s when different fields in science were divided between men and women. Things have improved a lot, but there is a lot more to be done. Men dominated the chemistry, physics, and engineering, while women dominated the fields of botany, geology, and psychology. The fields in which the women are known as tend to have relatively low salaries. Apart from government jobs where there are salaries fixed, in private jobs, the salaries may vary for females and males in different fields, especially for soft sciences. Family influence, apart from these external forces, family influence also plays a role. That is, what is the level of parents' education level? If the parents are highly qualified, naturally they will not do gender discrimination. Then economic status, what is the economic status of parents? As we have seen in the corona period, if parents' income has reduced, so the girls are sitting at home, there are a lot more dropouts. So economic status also determines the status of women in the society. And belief system. These are the societal beliefs or religious beliefs for uniforms, dresses, customs, like many controversies ongoing today also. So these are the family influence or societal influence which also impact the role of women in science, technology, and all other professional fields. Now I hand over the platform to Dr. Neha and hope it will be highly engaging, informative, and interactive session. And we hope that such organizations, when women come together on one platform and discuss their issues, we will come to a better future and right solutions in the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your kind words. A very good morning to all of you. I, Dr. Neha Agarwal, from Department of Chemistry, welcome you all in today's International E-Symposium, Global Women Breakfast 2022. Global Women Breakfast is an event that happens on a single day in February each year in conjunction with United Nations Day of Women and Girls in Science. Our aim is to celebrate the accomplishments and achievements of women in science and to inspire younger generations to pursue career in science. The theme of 2022 is Empowering Diversity in Science, with the central goal to establish an active network of both men and women to overcome the barriers to gender equality at workplace. The event facilitates the formation of communities on a local, regional, and international scale, effectively share ideas and strategies for progress. I hope that our effort to celebrate the event under the guidance of globally renowned esteemed IUPAC, which is known as International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, would definitely enhance the prestige of our college at national and international level. Today, we are here to listen to and discuss on various sub-themes of the event with our eminent invited guests and speakers, Mrs. Ruchika Rastogi, Dr. Shipra Pandey, Dr. Amrita Srivastava, and Professor Lian Song Hing. They will be discussing and keeping their views on how to develop leadership skills among girls, how to maintain gender equality at workplace, and how to achieve work-life balance and much more. I would like to start our discussion with a brief introduction of our first eminent guest, Mrs. Ruchika Rastogi, who has a distinguished career as a women achiever. She has been living in St. George for over 15 years. She works in high-tech industry as a senior sales leader in providing business solutions for cutting-edge technology and is pioneer in introducing innovations as a science.
मैम माइक ऑफ है। Ma'am, your mic is off.
Festivals with a special I'm sorry, I hope there was some technical issue. I will repeat. I'm sorry, there was a technical error from my side, so my voice was not audible. I would start again. I would like to start with the introduction of Mrs. Ruchika Rastogi. I would like to start my discussion with a brief introduction of our eminent guest, Mrs. Ruchika Rastogi, who has a distinguished career as a women achiever. She has been living in St. Joe's, California, USA for more than 15 years. She works in a high-tech industry as a senior sales leader in providing business solutions for cutting-edge technology and is pioneer in introducing innovation as a service concept to industry. She has been providing mentoring and career counseling to upcoming leaders. She has been awarded by Joe Biden, US President, for her lifetime achievement. I would like to repeat, she has been awarded by Joe Biden, United States President, for her lifetime achievement award for the community services she do. She is a board member of UPMA, which is known as Uttar Pradesh Mandal of America, with a focus on providing education to underprivileged kids in India. Her passion is to stay connected with India, her motherland, and has been promoting Indian culture festivals with a special focus on Hindi language in United States. She has been actively engaged in enabling required life support systems in India during COVID-19 pandemic. She is a member of Guild of Women Achievers since 2003 with the acute focus on addressing women harassment at workplace, and she has been an active participant in promoting women empowerment and women leadership. We are very happy and we are feeling so privileged to have Ruchika ma'am today. Now I would like to hand over the session from now to Ruchika ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Neha. I got muted again. Thank you so much, everyone. सबसे पहले तो आप सभी को नमस्कार. And it is a pleasure to be a part of this global platform where we are celebrating women. Being a woman and celebrating yourself in itself is one of the prestigious things for everyone. And before I start, I would like to thank the principal, Ms. Manjula Upadhyay, for your wonderful and very prestigious words on women and how we can bring up the female part up in the society and how we can bring girls up and empower them in a more different manner. Well, and thank you, Neha, for bringing me here and introducing me to such a wonderful family of this women empowerment group. And I think I will be now connected and will be a participant in continuation from here on. Well, a little bit before I start my thoughts on women leadership, I would start off with something that being yourself and trusting your own self is the very most important thing as a woman. I think we all go with. In fact, I have studied from Lucknow. I did my schooling from Pilani, and then I was a part of Lucknow University. In fact, Neha is one of my best friends. We have stayed together. And what I have seen in my life, I will go with my journey. I think what we aspire to do, and if we have the right things in place, we continue doing those things for us. And if you aspire to do something, things will keep on happening for us. Because if you look at it, leaders, what happened? I think I'm having some issue here. Well, what I was talking about was the way my journey started. I went ahead, I joined in my initial career itself, always away from school, being in a boarding school, I went ahead and joined a women empowerment group. The group of GOA, Guild of Women Achievers, was only working in basically when you get the gender inequality, a lot of other things was going on. So that's where we were fighting for it, that we should be having equal opportunity in everything. Apart that, then I moved up in my career and I landed in America. Right now, I'm working in America with a company and where I'm leading one of the very innovation-based companies where I'm selling innovation as a service. So I'm working as a director of digital transformation and leading the sales groups over there. And apart that, at the community level, it's a very interesting thing. I run an NGO, it's called UPMA, Uttar Pradesh Mandal of America, which is just for Uttar Pradesh, and where I'm taking care of 10 villages in Chitrakoot, where the whole Adivasi groups are there. So we are basically trying to help them, and we have opened schools over there. So we bring those kids in those schools, provide them the basic education, run a daycare kind of thing for them. And then once they go around 8 years old, they can go to the government schools further. Now I'm working on how after 8 or 10 years of age, how they can get much better education. So that's one of my visions. And I believe that unless every child in our country, every rural child in our country will be educated, then only in real sense we can say that our country is progressing. And I think that's one of the very important things for all of us to look at it. Another thing, actually, what Ms. Manjula pointed out was how we bring our kids, how we empower our own girls. So if you look at it, you all have been aware of Ms. Kamala Harris, who is basically right now one of the vice presidents of America. So I like one of her lines very much, where she said, very well that I may be the first women leader over here, but I'm not the last. So if you look at it, we all are aspiring to do something. And I think now women are coming in every field. Like Shirley Sandberg, the CEO of Facebook. It's like we have to make the leaders. Leadership is not something which can come from anywhere. We make leaders. When we work in teams, we have so many people in our teams. So we can empower everyone. We can have the leads created. And that's how we can make those leaders grow in their career. And I think as a leader, a good leader is someone who is always there to guide people and bring the best of them and bring it to the world at the world platform. Another very important thing which I feel is any problems in life as a woman, because I have a very work life balance. I'm a mother of two kids. I have two girls. One is in high school, she is in 12th grade, and another is in 6th grader. So working on my office time, because 9 to 5 I have my office job, which is a very much dedicated job. And you all know in IT field we all have, the office doesn't just go in one, like you just go and 5 o'clock you are done. It continues going on. So when I was doing all those things, how we take our time, and then we are going on in doing our NGO work. Apart that, as a mother, I do cooking and everything. So balancing all those things is the most important thing. And as a women, we should learn also how we can say no to anything, or which is the right and the wrong thing. So having those kind of things, inquisitiveness, and how we are going to deal with those things is the most important thing. And very important thing which I like is, all might be aware of Indra Nui. I'm very much impressed by her work and the diversification she has got into the industry. She is the former CEO of PepsiCo. What she did, she had a complete work-life balance, right? She restructured the company, she brought the diversification, she brought the gender equality in the company. So rather than just thinking, if I look at it right now, we have so many women's right now sitting here. And if I ask every one of you, like, what do you aspire to become, or what do you want to become in future, or what is your goal? People might think, oh, I'm a developer, I will go with the second level or third level. Those are the things people, they mostly think. But is there anyone, not many of us will think in that way, I want to be the CEO of this company, or I want to be the CTO of this company. Women's, they don't, and if they think also, they will say, let it be. I don't think I can go to that level because I have family and other things. I can go to that level, but it's hard to go to that level. So when you don't think and you don't think about those things, it becomes a little bit of a problem. And I think this is where we all are working together. I'm working on women empowerment and women leadership right now with some global leaders across the globe, connecting with some Salesforce leaders. There are some vice presidents over there. We have some people in Facebook, like Shirley Sandberg, I just said. So I'm trying to connect and make a global platform right now where we can have some TED Talks, and not only that to the people who are just working, but even from the lower level also. I think what is important is at times to understand what we want to do. And once we know what we want to do, or if someone can guide us, I think that is where the thing is missing for all of us. So my idea is to inspire everyone, do the best, and how we can bring everyone together and promote our country to the next level altogether. So by whether it is kids education, and when women's coming in all the levels right now, I think that is one of the best things we all can do for our country. And very important, which I believe is, no matter where you are across the globe, I have been out from from our own country for more than 15 years. I am in the United States, and before that I was in Singapore and always traveling around the world. And I have been into a lot of countries, opened offices in different locations across the world, whether it is Mexico, London, Brazil, wherever we have been. So we have been opening all those things, extending for all the companies. But what I do when I open any company or any extensions of our company, it is not that we are just hiring males or somebody. We always make sure that we are having equal number of men and women, because what happens is the way women think, the way women mind process, I think we all are aware of it. The way we think, the way we act, or the way we look at any problem, I think that lens is completely different. And it is very important to look at those lenses, those things, and have a different version of understanding the things together. So what I was trying to tell here is that whenever we are doing anything for any platform, I feel it is very important to support each other, hold hand each other, and empower each other to go above and beyond. Not only that, we do a lot of things, I tell you, in US, like Nari Seva hum karte hain wahan pe, where people, like, there are a lot of women who have some problems or family issues, or who have been abused or something. We are extending hands to them also and helping them, just to tell them, I'm there for you, to help you. I think this is where we are holding hands together and empowering each other. And I think today, at a global platform where we all are standing, this will be one of the best ways of holding each other and walking up in the ladder together. Well, thank you so much, Neha.
Thank you so much, Ruchika ma'am, for sharing your views with this topic. Now I would like to call Mrs. Chandan Maurya to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you so much, Ruchika ma'am, for your words and your motivational talk. Good afternoon, one and all. First of all, I, Chandan Maurya, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, on behalf of Navjot Kanya Mahavidyalaya, would like to welcome our respected keynote speaker, Dr. Amrita Srivastava, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, University of Lucknow. Okay. If anybody want to ask a question, they can ask in meantime. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce such an eminent personality. Dr. Srivastava has done her graduation, post-graduation, and PhD from University of Allahabad, and awarded with Marpat for metals standing in MSc exam. She has 20 years experience in teaching and research. Her research areas are computational chemistry, catalysis, physical chemistry, and kinetics of redox reactions, and consulting areas are physical chemistry and catalysis. She has more than 40 research publications and papers in reputed journals. She has contributed a lot for development of students, her institution, and society. Now, I cordially invite Dr. Srivastava to enlighten us with her words. Please, ma'am.
Hello, thank you. What's your name? I just forgot. What's your name?
Ma'am Chandan Maurya.
Okay, thank you for madam. Thank you, Neha, for calling me on this platform for such a wonderful gathering. And Neha is my very talented and very nice student, very disciplined, and that's why she is here on such a prestigious position. Now, here I'm, as she has said, I'm Dr. Amrita Srivastava, and I'm Assistant Professor in Chemistry Department, Lucknow University. I want to share some. I can't show any screen. I think you have disabled. Neha?
Yes, ma'am.
थोड़ा सा ये स्क्रीन शेयर करना चाह रही थी मैं, एक दो।
Okay.
तो यहाँ पर आ रहा है।
मैम आप स्टार्ट कर सकती हैं।
ओके।
Yeah, ma'am, it's visible now.
Okay. Actually, I want to discuss on some points of achieving balance in work and life. Work-life balance is a key part of self-care, where when juggling of responsibilities of your workday, home life, and relationship with your family members and other loved ones. Any problem? Work-life balance is a term that you make intuitive sense to many of us, but can be elusive to achieve. We all know the feeling when the demands are piling on one side of the work-life scale and dominating our days. You may also know the feeling of unfulfillment, dreams and desires on the other side of the scale. इसमें पता है अगर काम जो है एक साइड में इकट्ठा होता चला जाता है and we can't fulfill that, then this drag people into a vague feeling of discontent and disengagement. इंसान के अंदर एक असंतुष्टि का भाव and एक खालीपन सा भरता जाता है. And with that said, how can you manage your time and energy in a way that leaves you feeling fulfilled and engaged at a whole human being? इसके लिए हमें क्या है, बहुत बैलेंस्ड वे में चलना होता है, कुछ रूल्स फॉलो करने होते हैं. What can allow you to show up your best self and avoid mental exhaustion? काम करते करते अगर हम बहुत एग्जॉस्ट हो जाएं, स्पेशली विमेंस के लिए है कि वे घर और बाहर दोनों देखती हैं, उन्हें बहुत बैलेंस की जरूरत होती है. एंड एज मच एज वर्क हेल्थ इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल, relationship takes priority to your life, it is also important to schedule time for your own renewal. Health is a very most important point. अगर आपकी हेल्थ अच्छी नहीं होगी तो you can't make balance anywhere, neither in home nor in office. आपको बच्चे भी देखने हैं, आपको घर भी चलाना है, आपको सारे काम करने हैं, उसके बाद ऑफिस में जाके भी अपना बेस्ट देना है. इसके लिए क्या है, आपको अपना हेल्थ जो है वो उसके ऊपर बहुत ध्यान देना होता है. एंड इट इज एडवाइजेबल दैट यू टेक एटलीस्ट 30 minutes of uninterrupted your time, and you will do wonders for your well-being, your relationship, and your career will also benefit too. Connect with your spiritual source, believe in God or a high power. Not कुछ लोग होते हैं they don't believe in God, but there is a high power which rules all of us, and have a deep well-being which to draw inspiration, guidance and strength. Setting aside a weekly day of rest can be helpful as well. And make one point sure, leave work at work. काम को काम के पास ही रहने दीजिए, उसे मिक्स मत करिए घर में और काम में. स्लाइड्स चेंज नहीं हो रही हैं. Plan ahead to continue work activities with leisure, social or fitness activities, friends, health, life balance, career and family. Make a balance all in this. Set block of times for different tasks. हर task के लिए set a time. End work at a certain time. सारा काम आप एक निश्चित समय पे खत्म करें और एक निश्चित समय बना लें. हर चीज के लिए एक टाइम बांट लें. Enlist technology to help you unplug. अगर हो सकता है कपड़े हाथ से धोने की जगह मशीन का यूज करें, अब टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज करें जिससे आपका काम जो है जल्दी खत्म हो. Go out for lunch or enjoy lunch with your co-workers, with your family, with your friends, and take time. अपने लिए समय जरूर निकालें ताकि आप मेंटली और फिजिकली दोनों तरह से फिट रह सकें. Examine your situation, think about your most important values and how you want to spend your time. बहुत ज्यादा समझौता करने की जरूरत नहीं है. The way you want to spend your time, spend that. Manage your other people's expectations also. Learn to say no. This is a very important point. You should learn to say no also. No means ये नहीं कहना है कि मुझे ये काम नहीं करना है, but बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं. As you practice goes, it will become more and more obvious that you simply can't do everything. Your time and energy are scarce, and you will have to better gatekeeper to who or what has access to these limited resources. Limited resources में आप कितना काम कर सकते हो, क्या कर सकते हो, try to do that. उसके beyond जाने में try, if avoid to burn out and improve your work-life balance. Work out to be more conscious effort to say no to anything that doesn't make you happy and add value to your life or practice. हम बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं चाहते हुए भी करते चले जाते हैं और अंत में हमारे अंदर एक बहुत सारी निराशा घर कर जाती है. इसके लिए you should have इतना करेज होना चाहिए. जो चीजें हमें खुश नहीं करती, हमें परेशान करती हैं, उसके लिए we should say no. And try to delegate your work. Solo practitioners are ambitious and we work hard. The problem is that sometimes we want to do everything ourselves. What I mean that by delegation is not dropping a file on a clerk's desk and shooting at random instructions and with a deadline and bottling you to office se nikal jao. ऐसे नहीं. Solo, just give him delegates tasked with full and defined instructions to someone who is competent, trustworthy and dependable. ऐसे आदमी को अपने साथ रखें जो आपका काम अच्छे से कर सके और हम अपना काम शेयर करना सीखें कि दें. उसके साथ साथ take complete rest. Insomnia is one of the symptoms of burnout. बहुत ज्यादा काम करते हैं हम, भागते रहते हैं, करते रहते हैं, तो हमें क्या है, नींद की प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, हमें अच्छे से नींद नहीं आती है. इसके लिए getting enough sleep is crucial for your health and happiness. So don't skimp on it or let your work cut into those precious hours. Doctors have also proven that adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep nightly to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So you must follow this also. And plan your work day and set boundaries. Try to work when you are most productive. दिन भर में मैं पता है जैसे आजकल के बच्चे देर तक सोते हैं, रात में ज्यादा अच्छे से काम करते हैं. And if you are a morning person, you might want to see whether it is better for you to have appointment in the morning or whether it is better for you to come in the evening. But at the same time, know that if early evenings are when you want to be off and able to spend time with your family, friends, and then work into your daily schedule. Actually, sometimes you take time off. Examine your situation, think about what you most important values and how you want to spend your time. Manage other people's expectations also. Take care of your health. Learn to say no. सब points कुछ मैंने आपको बताए क्योंकि They are very take breaks. Use your lunch break. Ask for flexibility. Prioritize your health. Practice self-compassion. Communicate boundaries so you can truly unplug. And invest in relationship. That is the most important. We should invest in relationship. हमें अपने फैमिली को, अपने डियर वंस को, अपने फ्रेंड्स को अवॉइड नहीं करना चाहिए. उन्हें भी अपने डेली रूटीन में हमें शामिल करना चाहिए, सो दैट हम मेंटली फिट रहें और अपने प्रॉपर बैलेंसिंग के साथ अपना हम काम कर सकें. These are the few points. And take your time, at least 30 minutes. आप अपने में enjoy करें. There is some problem. वीडियो आ नहीं रहा था क्या? हेलो. चलो. Now that's all I wanted to share with you. Try to make balance in your life by balancing your work and family and everything by a definite discipline. तभी आप सारा काम कर सकेंगे and you will become successful in your life. जहां आप जाना चाहते हैं, आप पहुंचना चाहते हैं. Okay, thanks all. Neha, I don't know.
Thank you so much, Amrita ma'am, for sharing your views regarding work-life balance, which is very relatable to today's context. Thank you so much, ma'am. Due to some previous urgent commitments, our next speaker, Dr. Shipra Pandey, is not present us now with us, but she will join us later. Now, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Lien Son Hing, which is a professor in the Industrial Organizational Psychology program at the University of Gulf. Due to time zone difference, our speaker will not be delivering her talk, but we are very thankful to her that she managed to send her an invited talk on the topic, Real Means to Reduce Inequalities, Organizations as Sites for Change, which I personally think that Global Women Breakfast is the right platform to discuss this relevant issue. Before starting her talk, I would like to tell about her. Dr. Lien Son Hing is a professor in the Industrial Organizational Psychology program at the University of Guelph. Her work mainly focuses on inequality regarding status, power, and pay at the workplace. Much of her work is devoted to group-based inequalities in workplace perception of diversity, climate. She is alumni of Canadian Institute for Advanced Research and has received funding from various councils of Canada government. She was educated at Queen University and University of Waterloo. Now I am sharing her talk. Neha ma'am, I am audible?
Yes, please continue.
Okay. Neetu ma'am, kindly allow me to share my screen. Host has disabled participants screen sharing. Neetu ma'am?
You can continue.
Okay, thank you ma'am. One second. One second, ma'am, I'm sharing.
Hello, I'm very happy to be part of your conference today. My name is Leanne Sonting, and I'm going to play my talk.
Is it audible and visible?
Yes, Dr. Sunita, this is fine.
Okay, thank you.
This is working. All right. So the title of my talk is Real Means to Reduce Gender Inequalities, Organizations as Sites for Change. I'd like to start off by talking about the international gender pay gap. That is the difference between what men and women earn. So I was able to find this data for India. Not that I'm an expert on Indian workplaces or organizations, but according to the World Economic Forum, women earn only about 1/5 of what men earn. Of course, there's lots of potential reasons for this. They might be in different types of jobs. They might have differences in terms of their education and background. However, even when you control for the type of work and the value of the work that men and women do, women still only earn about half of what men earn. Now, if we look at Canada, which is where I'm from, here we find that women earn only 66% of what men earn. And if we look at them holding equal types of jobs, equal type of work, the numbers don't improve very much. So just in case it's better elsewhere, the country that is actually doing the best is Iceland, where women earn only 73% of what men earn. And so when we're looking at matched types of work, the difference is still apparent. Women earn 86 cents for every dollar that men earn. So with such ubiquitous effects, it's very important to ask, how can we understand such big and widespread gender pay gaps? I will propose that we can understand gender pay gaps as an example of inequalities of distribution, and in this case, gender inequalities. And so by this, I mean, for instance, how much pay do men versus women get, but we can be talking about the distribution of other types of outcomes too, like types of jobs and the status of jobs. For instance, who gets the technical professional jobs, to what extent is it men versus women, and outcomes like promotions. Men versus women, who gets to rise through the ranks. And one way we can understand the factors that feed into such inequalities of distribution is inequalities of recognition. So by this, I mean, how much status do men versus women have? To what extent is there gender inequalities in terms of who is respected? And to what extent are there gender inequalities in terms of who is seen as competent? If men are respected much more than women, women are seen as less competent, there's inequalities of recognition. This is going to feed into inequalities of distribution. They're not going to be paid as much, they're not going to get promoted, they're not going to get the good jobs. So where do such inequalities of distribution and recognition come from? Well, we can see, of course, that workplaces are embedded within people's communities and people's families, and then also within people's broader societies and the national level. So, for instance, cultural factors or stereotypes of what men and women are supposed to be like will influence gender inequalities within the workplace. People's expectations of women to be nurturing and men to be agentic. We can also see that expectations around family roles will play a role. So, for instance, are women expected to stay home after they have children? Or are they expected to always prioritize family over work? And we can see how things like policy and legislation will affect gender inequalities that we see in the workplace. Are there laws like pay equity in place? What about paid parental leave? Is it covered? If there is paid parental leave, is some portion of it relegated specifically to men? All of these can impact gender inequalities that we see in the workplace. In addition, inequalities within the workplace can come specifically from organizational factors themselves. So we can see gender inequalities in terms of organizational structures, processes, and practices. So organizations can differ in the extent to which, let's say, there's gender inequalities in leadership. What proportion of top leaders are women versus men? Or gender inequalities in terms of climates. To what extent is there a sexual harassment climate where people get away with it and nobody thinks that anyone's actually going to be punished? Versus to what extent is sexual harassment seen as something that's unacceptable and that will be punished? And so, as you can see from this model, we expect that all of these different organizational factors will have interacting and potentially reinforcing effects on each other, and that all of this can then shape organizational decision makers' levels of sexism and their likelihood of engaging in gender discrimination when making HR-related decisions, such as who to hire, who to promote, how much people get paid. So given the complexity of this, it's important to know in what types of organizational processes are gender inequalities actually most prevalent, and in what types of organizations and against who. And so I am working on a review paper currently with graduate students, and what we have found is that gender discrimination is most prevalent for higher status jobs, more complex jobs like technical jobs, also leadership, and in male-dominated work environments. And you can see gender discrimination in forms of selection, so who's likely to get hired, promotions, in terms of compensation, and unfortunately this is an extremely big effect because it's affected by multiple things, such as what type of job people are initially hired for, what type of job title they have, and whether or not they get promoted. And we can also see it in terms of things like sexual harassment. For instance, women are much more likely to experience sexual harassment in male-dominated workplaces. We also find that gender discrimination is stronger against mothers and against women who are expecting, and that they experience such discrimination in selection, in promotion, and in turnover. So given how severe the problem can be, what can organizations do in order to try to mitigate gender inequities? One important thing organizations can do is to implement affirmative action or employment equity type programs if instituted by the government, or diversity initiatives if instituted voluntarily. So one thing that organizations tend to do if they implement these kind of programs is to start diversity training. Organizations shouldn't rely on this because, in fact, diversity training is not very effective for increasing the number of women within the organization or the number of women within management positions. Rather, organizations should set clear targets for what they want to achieve, right? So do they want to, for instance, get the number of women in management positions to be 50-50? They then need to clearly monitor their progress toward that goal and have a team who's specifically accountable for monitoring and managing that progress. Now, these types of policies can easily be seen as quotas, and they can easily be seen as merit violating and reverse discrimination. And so if organizations implement them, they need to manage people's perceptions very carefully. They need to make it clear that without such programs, discrimination against female job candidates, against female employees will occur. And quite simply, if discrimination against women is occurring, that means that the best people aren't being hired or promoted, which is not in organizational interests. So by implementing these types of programs, they are in fact helping to hire and promote beneficiaries who are deserving. This message needs to be made clear, otherwise people's co-workers and even themselves can be concerned about the incompetence of those who are being hired and promoted. In addition to these policies, organizations can be very thorough in their review of HR policies and practices to ensure that they indeed do target merit. So what can organizations do to make sure that hiring, selection, promotion, etc. practices are free of bias? Here are some specific examples. One, they can institute anonymous resume screening. So take people's names off, and then you can't see discrimination, or you're less likely to be able to see discrimination on the basis of gender or other forms of marginalized identities. Organizations can also implement structured interview process instead of unstructured interview process. And so when there's structured interviews, the exact same questions get asked in the same order for all job candidates, regardless if you like them and you're feeling comfortable with them, or if they come from a different group and you're not so sure about them. And then the job candidates' responses need to be compared to some kind of rubric. And so they're graded in an unbiased, systematic way. To implement performance evaluations, organizations can engage in 360-degree feedback, which means that instead of just having your boss evaluate you, people are evaluated by bosses, by peers, and by subordinates, and even by themselves. And this helps to reduce gender bias. To hire and promote potential leaders, organizations can use assessment centers where candidates are brought in and they engage in role play behaviors. They actually do job-related tasks, and they're scored, again, based on objective criteria. And then finally, to help even out inequalities that exist within workplaces where men tend to be more connected to powerful networks, they're more in the know in terms of opportunities that might arise, or what types of tasks or jobs or clients they need to pay attention to, what kind of training they need to get. Organizations can implement formal mentorship programs so that women are just as likely to get such important mentorship opportunities. Third, organizations can create more positive diversity climates. And by this, I mean that employees perceive that marginalized group members are treated fairly, that they're not discriminated against, and that they're made to feel like they belong. They're included, and while being their authentic selves, while bringing their whole selves to work. When organizations have more positive diversity climates, you see better performance, you see higher employee well-being, and you see lower turnover, not just for women or other marginalized group members, but for all employees. And interestingly, organizations can promote women to leadership positions. And this is because having female leaders, having women at the top, can have cascading effects on gender equalities throughout the organization. It can help women's chances of being hired. It helps to mitigate gender inequities in terms of performance evaluations, in terms of promotions, even in terms of compensation, and it can help to reduce turnover and tensions among women. So I started my talk by talking about how inequalities of recognition can lead to inequalities of distribution. What I'd like to point out now is that the arrow can actually go the other way. So it can be the case that as organizations create greater gender equality of distribution in terms of who gets the leadership positions, who gets the good jobs, who gets the high status, who gets the high pay, this can actually change people's perceptions of the value and worth and competence of men and women. As women rise through the ranks, it becomes more difficult for people to, and they perform well, it becomes more difficult for, and people can see that it's based on merit, it becomes difficult for people to say that women are in fact less competent than men. And so people start to rationalize what they see as deserved. In fact, there's longitudinal international research demonstrating that as women occupy the workplace more and women's roles in the home become lessened, that gender stereotypes start to change. Women are seen as more competent. And so I would like to argue that organizations can be an important site for wide-scale change, not just within organizations, but more broadly. And so as we see greater gender equality within workplaces, this is one factor that can help to engender greater gender equalities, both within communities, families, and within societies. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Professor Hing. I think Professor Hing talk on gender inequalities issues are very helpful to us. As due to some urgent meeting with Chief Minister of UP, Dr. Shipra is not able to join with us. Now I would like to call Dr. Neha for vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita. We are extremely sorry to say that Dr. Shipra Pandey would not be with us today because of some, as Dr. Sunita told us, that because of some urgent engagements, ma'am is not able to join us. Actually, she had joined us in the morning, but because of emergency call, she had to leave. So we are sorry on behalf of Dr. Shipra Pandey. Now I would like to conclude the session with the vote of thanks. I, on behalf of Navyu Kanya Mahavidyalaya, convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our honorable speakers. Words are not enough to thank all the honorable delegates who gave their important time and they enhanced the prestige of our event. I am thankful to our beloved principal, Professor Manjula Upadhyay, for her support who helped us in obtaining the necessary administrative approval for organizing the symposium. I am very much thankful to our respected faculty members and my dear students, without whom this program would not have been a great success. I would like to thank our student Tanu Kashyap for her beautiful dance performance of Saraswati Vandana. My sincere thanks to Professor Sapna Verma, Principal, Nari Shiksha Niketan, Professor Beena Rai, Principal, Awadh Girls College, and Professor Monica Avasthi, AP Saint Memorial Girls College, who have joined the program and gave their important time to us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Last but not the least, I would like to thank my Department of Chemistry, Dr. Sunita Singh, Mrs. Chandan Maurya, Dr. Mamta Verma, and a special thank to Mrs. Lalita Pandey, whose moral support, overall support is always there with us. And without her support, we are not able to conduct any of the program. So thank you, Lalita ma'am, for being there for us. Thank you so much. If anyone wants to ask any question or if you want to keep your views, kindly you can do that now.
Ma'am, kindly tell them about the feedback link. It
Yes.
has been shared in chat box.
This is basically for the listeners. We have shared a link for the feedback form. Please fill it as soon as possible, because those who will fill the feedback form, they will get a certificate online. And for respected guests, we can communicate with them later on for that. Thank you so much. So if anyone wants to ask anything, anyone wants to say anything, they can do, or we should end up the meeting now. Okay. Thank you so much.